Yes, and we are live. Please confirm if you can hear me. Let me know in the comments if you can see me and if you can hear me. I'm so excited to be here today, and I'm sure you are too. Please let me know if you can hear me now and if you can see me before we move on. I want to know in the comment section if you can hear me and if you can see me. Welcome to this live show. My name is Ayolua Adedeji. I am a parenting coach. If you hear my name or what comes to your mind, the parenting guru. Yes, I am the parenting guru. I love to talk about parenting. I love everything about parenting. I love to learn parenting. I love to teach parenting. Today on this live show, I want us to have a conversation on a recent incident that occurred. A situation where a teacher was beating a 3-year-old child for not being able to write well. As a parenting coach, I see this as a big issue, an issue to be concerned for, not because the act in itself is not acceptable, but because of our collective misunderstanding of discipline, of what a child needs, our collective misinformation on child development. And this live show wants to address how we understand discipline, our expectations, and solutions to early childhood education. Please let me know if you are hearing me. Is anybody here with me? Let me know in the comment section if you can hear and see me. All right. Can you hear me? I'm here to receive any comment. Please, can you hear me? I want to be sure that I'm audible before I move on. Can you hear me? If you can hear me and you can see me, please let me see your comments in the comment section. All right, let's move on. Understanding expectations, discipline, and solutions in early childhood education. What should we expect from a 3-year-old child? By the way, I'm not sure if that child in that video is 3 years old, but according to the news on social media, the child was said to be a 3-year-old child, the child that is being flogged by a teacher. So the aim of this live session is to shed light on what to expect from a 3-year-old child and how parents and teachers can create a safe environment to nurture our children effectively. Now, a 3-year-old child, there are things we shouldn't expect from them. There are unnecessary stress that we put in, on our children, all in the name of setting them up for success. But a lot of time, what we see as beneficial to them, what we see as discipline or learning process, does more damages than good to our children. Now, I receive a lot of comments from my posts and other platforms. Some said that it is hard to teach a 3-year-old child. So the teacher has good intention. The teacher wants the child, to understand what she was teaching. Yes, I agree. Like most of us parents, we normally have good intentions, but our processes are usually wrong and they are damaging to our children. Some said that if they are the parents of the teacher, they will beat the teacher to stupor and all that. This also shows knowledge gap. There's this saying that 2 wrongs can never make a right. If a teacher beats a child and we are complaining that that is wrong, and the parents of a child is still thinking that the solution to that is to beat the teacher, then there's something wrong with us. Yes, something is wrong with us. And the earlier we admit this, the better we are able to make the necessary correction. So, some said that a 3-year-old child should be able to write number 6. According to the video I watched, the teacher was teaching the boy to write number 3. So some people are of the opinion that a 3-year-old child should be able to write number 6. Well, by the time we finish this live show, we will understand better what we should expect from a 3-year-old child. But before I move on, I want to point out 3 things about a 3-year-old child from age 1 to 5 years old, actually. But because of in the context of the issue we are discussing, I'll be focusing on a 3-year-old child, right? So for a 3-year-old child, is just developing fine motor skills. So it is completely normal for a 3-year-old child to struggle with learning. Yes, with writing, it is normal. So putting unnecessary pressure on a 3-year-old child to write is uncalled for. The fine motor skills of a 3-year-old child is still developing. The child will struggle. I have a 2-year-old child going on 3, so I can understand and I know what it means. I know what to expect from a 3-year-old child. So it is normal. It is okay. The child is not abnormal. If a 3-year-old child is struggling with writing, the child is still okay. Teachers and parents will need to understand it. There's nothing to be worried about. Before you can get worried that your child is not writing well, maybe when the child is around 5-year-old, yes, then you can begin to worry. But for a 3-year-old child, it is completely normal. It is okay to struggle. It is okay for a 3-year-old child to struggle with learning, especially when the learning is structured. It is okay for a 3-year-old child to struggle with writing. So let's drop this unnecessary pressure that we put on little children. Now, the second thing I want to point out is that a 3-year-old child is just learning how to regulate their emotions. That is why you notice that they throw tantrums, they scream, they easily get angry. They are just on the journey of learning how to manage their emotions. Even some of us that are adults, we are still struggling to manage our emotions, and we expect a 3-year-old child to be able to manage his or her emotions. No, that is uncalled for. That is unrealistic expectations. And the third thing is that 3-year-old child learn better through play, encouragement, and repetition. For a 3-year-old child, as a matter of fact, what a 3-year-old child needs to learn is not in a classroom. Yes, it is not in a classroom. A 3-year-old child should be getting ready, getting prepared to go to school. I made a post that a 3-year-old child shouldn't be in school in an ideal situation. And a lot of people, kept dragging me that should a parent of a 3-year-old child take to work? What if the parents are working in bank? What if they are working, what if they are military people and all that? The truth is that a 3-year-old child shouldn't be in class, whether we like it or not, whether we agree or not. A 3-year-old child should not be in class where there is pressure to learn. The problem we have is that we don't understand child development, child psychology, until we are able to understand that. We will stop normalizing nonsense. But because it is happening, because we are doing it, doesn't make it normal. No. A 3-year-old child should be preparing to go to class to learn. What a 3-year-old child needs is play. Play is their work. I have a child, 2 years going on to 3 years. He's not in school yet. I agree that you need to work as a parent. Yes, that's fine. I agree with that. But if you have to work and your child needs to be away from home, your 3-year-old child should be in a play group where he or she can learn through play. But for structured learning, that is too much for a 3-year-old child. If you have to work, yes, and your child needs to get away from home, your child shouldn't be in a class where the learning is structured, where he or she is expected to write. At most, a 3-year-old child should learn to identify number 1 to 3, not to write number 1 to 6. That is too much. The child can't cope. That is unnecessary stress, undue stress that we are placing on a 3-year-old child. So I agree with those that are saying that a 3-year-old child can actually be in school. A 3-year-old child, if the parents are working, they can't stay at home with that child, the child needs to be in school. Yes, if your child is 3-year-old and he or she has to be away from home, it should be in a play group, not where he or she will be beaten to write. What is a 3-year-old child? What business does the child have with number 6? That is too much. That is too much. Until we understand what we should expect, real expectation from children, we will stop putting unnecessary pressure on them. Unnecessary pressure that we are putting on our children is doing more danger. It's doing more harm to them than good. All right, let's move on. What are the harmful effects of corporal punishments to children? In this part of the world, we are a group of people that believed that our parents did well by beating us very well. When I make posts on gentle discipline, I receive a lot of comments, and those comments shows that we are actually not okay. I receive comments like, my parents beat me and I turn out to be okay. My parents did this to me and I turn out to be okay. It is the way my parents slapped me that made me to get to where I am. What these responses implies is that we are actually not okay. We are not okay. A lot of us are traumatized and we don't know. Some of us are living in denial. I was beaten as a child and I didn't like it. But if you can think well, when you were beaten, did you like it? Of course, no. As a parenting expert, I can tell you that you can discipline a child without beating. Yes, the problem is that we don't know how to do it, and we assume that the best and the only way to discipline a child is through corporal punishments. That is not true. There are better ways to do it. That is why in this generation, if you are a parent and you don't belong to a parenting community, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are not doing well at all. You are not taking any course on parenting. You are not reading books on parenting. You will struggle and your children will struggle. Our parents did their best Yes, because that was all they knew. Now we know better. We should do better. We can discipline our children. We can raise well-rounded children without corporal punishments. We can achieve that without corporal punishments. I didn't get to this stage like this. As a matter of fact, even as a parenting expert, I'm still working on myself. Most of us assume that parenting, we can parent anyhow. No. Parenting is not an intuition. We have to learn it. Yes. Parenting is a learned skill, not an intuition. Not something we do, anyhow. No. There's a skill to effective parenting, and that is what most of us lack. So as a parent in this generation, you need to be equipped. You need to belong to a community where you can learn. You need to, have expanded awareness on parenting. You need to see parenting with another perspective, with another lens. You need to view parenting in another dimension. So what are the harmful effects of corporal punishments on children? The first thing is that it creates fear and anxiety. It creates fear and anxiety. Most of us are even proud to say that our children are afraid of us. If your child is afraid of you, you are not doing well. The child will not understand why he or she needs to behave well. Fear-based method is not the best method to teach a child. As a matter of fact, for you to correct a child, you should first connect with the child. You cannot correct a child if you are not connected with your children. You are not connected with a child, there's no way you can correct that child effectively. I work with children, I work with teenagers, and I heard some of them, pretending. They do things that their parents want them to do when their parents are there. And when their parents are not there, they do otherwise. The fault is not from the parents. It's because the parent has created fear in them. The children didn't understand why they need to do what their parents asked them to do. So if you are giving your children corporal punishment to instill discipline, you are creating fear. You are creating anxiety, and you are creating lack of self-confidence. Your children will lack confidence. They will not believe in themselves. Corporal punishment is not an ideal method. It's not an ideal approach to discipline a child. Then it teaches them that mistakes are unacceptable. One thing that our parents failed to teach us is that mistakes are part of life. Mistakes are part of learning. Failure is a pathway to success. If you don't fail, you cannot succeed. Yes, we gain mastery through failure. When we, instill corporal punishments in a child for making mistake, what we are teaching that child is that mistake is not unacceptable, and that is wrong. For us to learn better, we need to make mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. And by the time we do it again and again and again, we become master. We master that skill. So when you beat a child for not writing well, for not doing something right, what you are teaching a child is that mistakes are unacceptable. And when a child has this mentality that mistakes are unacceptable, the child will not be able to explore. You are killing that child's thinking, skill, problem-solving skills. Give room for mistakes. Allow your children to make mistakes. They will get better. No child should be punished for making mistakes. As a matter of fact, no one should be punished for mistakes. So as a teacher and as a parent, it is okay for a child to make mistakes. It is okay mistakes. We are not perfect. So another harmful effect of corporal punishment on children is teaching them that mistakes are unacceptable, and that is not true. The next one is that it leads to more aggression and defiance and withdrawal. I have parents, on my coaching table complaining, I have beaten my children, I have shouted, I have yelled, yet my children are not cooperating. They will not cooperate. They will not. Corporal punishments affect, it doesn't, work on the thinking brain of a child. But healthy discipline, gentle discipline does. So when you are constantly, giving corporal punishments for your child's mistake, your child will keep making that mistakes. Your child, will be aggressive. And it can even lead to withdrawal. I have heard from children that they hate their parents because of the way their parents beat them. No. Beating a child is not the right. We may not accept. I know the responses I get when I make posts on, avoiding beating children. I know lots of things that, people say, but whether we agree or not, corporal punishment, beating is not ideal. Not even for a child. Now, the last one I want to talk, there are lots of them, but I'll focus on this on 4. The next one I want to talk about is that it teaches children that power and, and adults park a car and start fighting on the road. Why? Because that child, that adult has been taught that aggression and power are the tools to solve problems. This is not true. This is not true. There are better ways that we can address that. There are better ways to address issues. So beating a child is conditioning that child's brain that when you want things done, the right thing to do is to beat. The right thing to do is to shout. And that is why some parents will say, my children beat me. Yes, it is not their fault. It's because you have taught them that when you want them to do something, you beat them. So when they want you to do something too, they beat you. So beating or corporal punishment teaches children that power and aggression are the right, tools to solve problems. This is not true. This is why our society is what it is today. Aggression is not the right way to solve problems. Violence is not the right way to solve problems. Now, some said that it is good for the teacher to be arrested. The teacher, according to the news, I read from the Punch newspaper that the teacher has been arrested and reprimanded. And some are of the opinion that that is right, that is okay, the teacher will learn. That may seem, a solution. That may look like solution, but it is not. It is just a band-aid. There's something wrong with the teacher that we don't know. Probably to, believe that beating is the right approach to get a child to learn. When a child is exposed to beating while teaching, this can lead to fear and frustration, and it can discourage that child from learning. Yes. While it is okay for the child to face the consequence, we should also look at the emotional status of that teacher. Possibly the teacher belongs to the group of people that will say, my parents beat me and I turn out to be okay. My parents slapped me, my parents hit me, and I am okay. I am here where I am today because my parents beat me. There's something wrong with that mentality. There's something wrong with that. Yes, a whole lot is wrong with that. So, aside arresting the teacher needs to understand child development. What a child is expected to do per time. If the teacher has the understanding of child psychology and child development, the child will understand that it is okay for a 3-year-old child to struggle with learning. It will, the teacher will understand that a 3-year-old child has no business with number 6. Quote me anywhere. A 3-year-old child has no business with number 6. The highest is for a 3-year-old child to be able to identify number 1 to 3. So aside arresting the teacher, reprimanding the teacher, we need to assess the mental status, the emotional status of that teacher. Possibly the child is acting, the teacher is acting under trauma. Yes, the teacher is acting under trauma. Okay, what are the roles of teachers in creating a nurturing environment for children to learn? The first thing is that the teacher, just like I said, a teacher needs to understand child development, what a child is expected to do at stage. Teachers need to understand so that they will know when a child is actually struggling and when a child is not struggling. As a matter of fact, child development should be a core course for teachers. They should understand every stage of a child development. Teachers should also adopt age-appropriate teaching techniques. A 3-year-old child cannot actually thrive in classroom. There are skills that a 3-year-old child needs to learn, but not in structured learning, not on paper. No, not on paper. There are skills, and these skills should be taught at home. These skills should be taught through play. Skills like how to survive outside home. Skills like resilience, skills like problem solving, age-appropriate problem solving skills, skills like emotional regulations. These are skills that are not taught on paper. They are skills that a child will learn in home or through play. So the role of a teacher or teachers is to understand how to adopt age-appropriate teaching techniques and not beating. The teachers also need to learn to manage their emotions. One of our core courses at the Model Family Focus is emotional intelligence. As a teacher, you should learn to master your emotions. If you cannot master your emotions, you cannot teach effectively. Even as an adult, I had to undergo emotional intelligence course. Emotional intelligence is huge in parenting. Emotional intelligence is huge for teachers. So as a teacher, you need to understand your feelings. What does emotional intelligence does? It creates awareness of our feelings before our feelings overwhelm us. And it equips us to be able to feel our feelings, understand our feelings, and manage them effectively. If we cannot understand and manage our emotions, we can't be effective with parenting. We cannot be effective with teaching. As a teacher, emotional intelligence is huge. And I recommend, as a parenting expert, that emotional intelligence course should be a compulsory course for teachers. An emotional intelligent teacher, we know that even when you are teaching a child and the child is not understanding what you are teaching, the next thing is not to beat. The next thing is to understand why the child is struggling with what you are teaching, and probably change your approach and not beating. Teachers need to understand child development. They need to adopt age-appropriate teaching techniques, and they need to master their emotions. All right. Since teachers and parents are, you know, we are co-parenting, yes. Even as a parent, we have our roles in creating a nurturing environment for our children to survive. So as parents, what are the things that we need to do? I have heard parents complaining to teachers that my child cannot do this. My child cannot write this. At this age, my child should be able to recite multiplication table. My child should be able to do this. Putting unnecessary pressure on teachers. So even as parents, we also need to understand child development. I also recommend, as a parenting expert, that parents should study child development even before they have child. I did that. When I was pregnant with our first child, I studied, child development. I haven't even started my intentional parenting journey, but I saw it as a need. That I need to understand what children need at each stage. So as parents, we also need to understand that so that we won't put unnecessary pressure on our children and on our teachers. Some of these teachers do what they do because parents are putting unnecessary pressure on them. So as parents, you need to understand child development. You need to know what your child needs at every stage. You also need to communicate. Communicate with your teacher. A lot of us parents, we take our children to school in the morning. We go to pick them in the evening. We don't communicate with their teachers. We don't, see it as point of duty to let the teachers of our parents to know where our children are struggling. Providing for our children is not all that we need. It's more than that. Parenting is not about buying things, providing food, providing shelter. No, it's more than that. And until we realize our role as a parent, we will not do better. So when you notice that your child is struggling, and you can identify that struggle is, is a reason for concern, communicate to your children's teacher and liaise, agree on how to help your child to solve that struggle. Another thing is advocacy. I read from Punch newspaper that the mother of that child said that actually the boy has been complaining that his teacher has been beating him rather, and she was quiet. How should that happen? How should that happen? Your child is complaining that the teacher is beating him or her and you keep quiet. That doesn't show responsibility. It doesn't. I am not saying that when your child is being beaten, you should go and fight, no. But that should be addressed. It should be addressed. When a child is complaining of, unacceptable behavior, don't see it as a mere complaint. No, a lot of parents does that. I have heard parents said to me that my child was complaining that that our teacher was eating her food and she kept quiet. We need to advocate for healthy discipline, for healthy environment, for our children to thrive, not only to survive, but to thrive. Yes. So we need to advocate for our children. Let the teacher know what you do. I do that with my children's teacher. This is what I expect you to do to my child. This is how I expect you to handle my child. At the Mother Family Focus, there's a document we prepare for clients. We call it the user's manual. Our model believes that a child is a product from God, that God is a manufacturer, that a child is a product, and parents and teachers are users. So, and we believe that for a product to be effectively used, we have to, study a manual. So we create our manual for our clients, for teachers, for children, so that their teachers will know how best to handle them. So what this user's manual does is that it points out the child's strength, the child's weakness, what is expected of a child, how the child can be disciplined, and we submit it to teachers to help them to undo this child, to get the best out of that child. And if you are a parent and you don't consider that as a necessity, that is not okay for your child. When the teacher of your children understand what you expect them to do, they will do well. They will handle your child the way they're supposed to handle your child, and your child will come out better. So as parents, we also need to understand our children's development per stage. We must communicate and we must, advocate. Another important thing is that we need to know our children. If that mother has known that boy, the teacher wouldn't have treated the boy the way she did. If you don't know your child's potentials will be trampled on. Yes, if you don't know who your child is, knowing your child is beyond my child's favorite food, my child's favorite color, my child's hobby. No, what is your child's personality? You need to know. This is one of the things we do at the Mother Family Focus. We assess children, we assess parents to know their personality, to know how we can, help them develop their deficient personality. So as a parent, you need to know your child. You need to know your child's weaknesses, your child's strength, so that you can help your child to develop your child's strength, your child's weakness from his or her strength. A child cannot be developed. A child cannot be raised. A child's, potentials cannot be assessed from the point of weakness, but from the point of strength. Most times, we focus on our children's weakness. You cannot do this. You should be able to do this. You should be able to do that. Why not focusing on that child's strength? When you focus on that child's strength, then from there, you will develop that child's weakness. So know your child. Knowing your child is an important step, to creating a nurturing environment for your children to thrive. Now, I want to share tips for supporting a 3-year-old child's learning, because the context of our discussion is on that incident of a 3-year-old child being beaten by the teacher for not being able to write well. A 3-year-old child is still forming, so we need patience. It takes patience and repetition to learn a new skill, even as an adult. Few years ago, I stumbled on a video on a social media that's from a dentist that said that after brushing our teeth, we shouldn't clean up with water. I've read it, over and over again, but that time it sinked on me. And I told everyone in the house that from now on, after brushing our teeth, we will not rinse our mouth with water so that we can have, a whiter teeth. Everyone agreed. But trust me, each time I finished brushing my teeth, before I could remember, I would have, used water to brush my teeth. My children are the one correcting me. Mommy, you said we will not be brushing, we will not be, cleaning our mouth with water. Daddy, you said we agreed that we will not be using water to rinse our mouth. What does that tell us? That it takes time for us to learn, even as adults. Why are we now expecting so much for a child? For us to bring the best out of a child, we need patience. We need patience. Thank you all for joining me. Kuliola Doja, thank you for joining me. Bola Akinteye, Auntie Bola, thank you. Monsurat Gbadamosi, thank you for joining me. So we need patience. That a 3-year-old child is writing and is struggling. We need patience. Patience. It takes patience, encouragement, and repetition for a child to learn. We need positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement. I said it in one of my posts that what a 3-year-old child should be doing, is scribbling. Yes, scribbling. I have papers of scribbling that my 2-year-old child going on 3 year is doing, scribbling. That's jaka jaka on the wall. Yes, that is what a 3-year-old child should be doing. And when the child does that, appreciate it, celebrate that win. It could be a hug, it could be high five, it encourages them to do better. Not condemning, not shouting at, not, talking them down. That will not help that child. Positive reinforcement, just to encourage. We also need play-based learning. At this stage, a 3-year-old child cannot learn from structured learning space. A 3-year-old child will learn better from play-based method. Sometimes last week, I was cleaning the house, and my child was with me. And he was all over everywhere. Wanted to wash, wanted to do this and do that. And I thought, what can I do to teach? Actually, he wanted to learn. Most times when we complain that our children are active, our children are doing this and that, they actually want to learn. They want to do something. And I thought of it. What can I do? This is bathroom. What can I do? What activity can I engage this child to learn? And this is what I did. I picked a jerrycan, a 3-liter jerrycan, and I gave it to him. I opened the lid and I gave it to him. I put a 20-liter of water. I said, okay, this is water, this is jerrycan. Fill this jerrycan with water using this, lid. He was so excited, and that engaged him. He was, using the lid to fill the jerrycan with water. He was so busy doing that, he will stand, he would sit while I concentrate with my work. He concentrated. At a point, he gets, tired. And he was saying, mommy. I said, no, you have not finished the task. You have to finish what you are doing. He continued. At a point, he said, mommy, ebin pami in Yoruba. I said, no, you will eat, but you have to finish what you are doing. He kept doing that, kept filling the jerrycan with water. You can imagine how tedious that would be. He kept doing that, but he did something surprisingly. When after filling the jerrycan, he will lift the jerrycan and he will notice that there's no much water inside the jerrycan. He will continue. And at a point, he surprised me. He picked the jerrycan, dipped the jerrycan inside the bucket of water, and he pressed the jerrycan. You know what will happen? Automatically, the jerrycan was filled with water. And he was so excited. He was so excited. Mommy, see. He was so proud of his achievements that when I wanted to pour the water, he said, Mommy, no. Do you know what that child has learned through play? Self-confidence. He has learned that he can actually do something. He can actually achieve something on his own. He has learned problem-solving skill. For a 2-year-old child going to 3 to be able to think that he can actually solve a problem at hand. That is problem-solving skill. He has learned resilience. Even when he was tired, he learned that he should still, continue to do what he wanted to do until he gets the desired results. This cannot be taught in a classroom. That is play. And he has learned. So a 3-year-old child will learn better through play-based learning. Through play-based learning. So we shouldn't expect too much from our children. For those that are saying that a 3-year-old child should be able to write number 6, I am here to tell you, as a parenting expert, that a 3-year-old child has no business with number 6. Not at all. For those that are saying that a 3-year-old child, that it's okay for the teacher to beat a 3-year-old child because the teacher is actually doing her work, I am still here to tell you that it is not okay. Fear-based approach is not appropriate for learning. Yes, it is not okay. The result we want to achieve, a confident, learner, cannot be achieved through fear-based method. For us to achieve a confident, child, for us to instill discipline in a child, we need to create an enabling environment. Beating, yelling, and shouting will not set up our children for the success that we desire for them. For those that are of the opinion that the teacher should rot in jail, that is still not okay. While the teacher should, face the consequences of that behavior, the teacher also needs to heal from a trauma. The teacher is going through a trauma that she didn't identify, or that she's living in denial. Another important thing that we fail to examine is the school system. Because I was wondering, if the school system didn't support corporal punishment, I wonder why the teacher will have such courage to do that to a 3-year-old child. So our educational system needs to be reviewed. For school owners, for teachers, it is not okay. There are several strategies that we can use to discipline our children. Definitely not beating, not yelling, not shouting at. For those that are saying that by 3-year-old, by a child at 3-year-old is okay to be in school. Well, for those of us that are in Nigeria, it seems normal, but it is not normal. Someone commented on my post that I made a post that a 3-year-old child should be put at the back after, having bath in the morning. And the person was like, a 3-year-old, is that how we bring out the best in our children when other people in advanced country, they are doing better? We need to do our research. Americans, Europe, all those advanced countries, they don't admit children below 5-year-old. Yes, you can fact check me. They don't. As a matter of fact, there are some countries that their children don't resume school until they are 7-year-old. And their educational system is way better than ours. So the fact that it's happening doesn't mean it is normal. It is not normal. But if you are working and your child needs to be away from home, that's okay. But it should be in a place where there's no pressure to write. There's no pressure to learn. A 3-year-old child should not be pressured to learn. A 3-year-old child should be encouraged to learn, not to be pressured to learn. Now, something interesting happened, and I see a lot of positive comments that a real estate company has picked up the child to sponsor the child's education to university. They provided, house for the child. That's okay. I congratulate the family. But this also shows how shallow our understanding is, the definition of our success. We attach material things to success. We attach, academic performance to success. We place so much importance to academic. Is academic or achievement okay? Oh yes, I agree. It is. It is good. But grades and academics is just an aspect of success. Success is relative. Success is holistic. It's okay that the child has, gotten scholarship, but did we actually think of the damage that attitude of that teacher has done to that child? Did we actually consider that child's self-confidence? Did we actually understand the bruise that child's, self-love will have suffered? Success is not in the houses that we have. It's not in the cars that we are able to have. We need to consider our mental health. That child needs more than what he is giving. For the real estate company, well, thanks to them for what they have done, but that is not what the child needs. The child needs more than that. We need to work on that child to build back the child's self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-love. When we beat a child for not doing what he or she is supposed to do, we are bruising that child's self-confidence. That boy's self-confidence needs to be revived. And house will not do it. Scholarship to university level will not do that. That child needs to be coached, needs to be mentored, needs to be tutored so that the child can, get either self-confidence, self-worth back. I watched the video and it was an horrible one to watch. Hitting a 3-year-old child repeatedly for not being able to write number 6. And the next thing to compensate the child is to give, a scholarship. Is okay, but the child needs more than that. Again, it is important that we define success the way we should. Having good academic grades, it's okay, but it is not only the parameters for success. It is not. And until we shift our mindset from this, we will actually not do better. So, thank you for joining me for this live session. I am glad you are here, and I'm also glad to do this with you. Like I said earlier, my name is Ayoluwa Adedeji. I am a parenting coach. I am the founder and the lead consultant at the Model Family Focus. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. There are a lot of things that is coming up on my YouTube channel for parents that will equip you for your parenting journey. Gone are the days that we think that we can parent anyhow. We cannot parent anyhow now. As a matter of fact, if your parenting approach is like your parents' parenting approach, you are already failing. Yes, if you are parenting your children the way you are parented, you will fail. I'm not apologetic about this. You will fail. Because our parents prepared us for the life that is not existing now. When we were being raised, there was no internet. A lot of things that our children are exposed to now, we weren't exposed to them that time. So we need to change our approach. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Every week on Friday, I upload a video talking about parenting. You have access to them free of charge when you subscribe to my YouTube channel. A lot of things are coming up that you will not benefit if you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel. And on my Facebook page, if you have not followed me, please follow me. I share tips on parenting every day. Even as a parenting expert, as a parenting coach, I learn every day about parenting. One thing about parenting is that parenting is evolving. Yes, so we need to be at the pace. We need to learn every day so that we can parent effectively. If you have any concern, if you have any question, please feel free to get in touch with me. My phone number is on my page. my email. You can get in touch with me with my email, through my email, through my social media platform. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn. So you can get across to me and I will do my best to address your challenges. I am prepared for this time. I am prepared for this era. And I am ready to give in all it takes to help parents to raise whole, confident, and compassionate children. Parenting is not an intuition. Parenting is a learned skill. Come and learn parenting. Stop assuming parenting. Parenting is learned and not to be assumed. The lowest level of knowledge is assumption. Stop assuming parenting. Come and learn. Come and learn parenting. There are a whole lot of things that are wrong with our parenting style these days. I work with teenagers, I work with children, and I know that we have problems in our parenting approach. So, please do well to join me on all my social media platforms and do well to reach out to me. I'll be glad to attend to your parenting concern. And I also want to tell you that at the Mother Family Focus, we run a parenting diagnosis assessment. Yes. What this assessment does is that it reveals your personality as a parent. A lot of us don't know our personality. We don't know who we are. We don't even know our strengths. We don't know our weaknesses. So our parenting diagnosis assessment is like a lens that touchlights your strength and your children's strengths and weakness, and how your personality can influence your children's personality. It will reveal to you your current position in your parenting journey, where you are on your parenting journey, and it will equip you with the skills that you need to get to where you're supposed to be in your parenting journey. It will also reveal who your children are, who your child is, what you need to do to get the best out of them. If you haven't run this assessment, hey, I can tell you that you are parenting in error. Yes, I can confidently say that if you haven't run this assessment, you are parenting in error. So reach out to us at the Modern Family Focus to take this assessment. It will do you a lot of good. It will make parenting easy for you, and it will make it effective. It will also make your parent-child connection, stronger, because when you know how to connect with your child, discipline will, of course, be effective. Again, thank you for joining me. Ibirinde Oluwatoyi, thank you for joining me. My auntie Akintola Folashade, thank you so much for joining me. Auntie Bola Akintoye, thank you for always being there. I am glad that you joined me for this live session. Please, if you have any question, you can drop your comment. And don't forget to share this live session with other parents on your platform. Thank you for joining me. Do have an amazing weekend. Bye.